You didn't tell anyone, but something inside you has been slowly dying, and no matter how strong you pretend to be, you've been silently begging for a way out, not just from your situation, but from the version of you that had to survive it. And if your eyes are on this video right now, that's not random. It's a sign. Because what's been killing you in silence, Allah is about to pull you out of it, even if you don't see it yet. Even if all you feel right now is emptiness. 1. He let you feel safe in silence, so you'd stop performing for the world. You didn't know how tired you truly were, until everything around you became quiet. The messages slowed down, the invites stopped coming. The people you used to talk to daily drifted, and suddenly you were alone with your thoughts. No background noise, no distractions, just you and the ache you didn't know how to name. At first, you panicked. You asked yourself, why is everyone forgetting me? Why is Allah taking people away? Why does it feel like life paused just for me? But what you didn't see yet was that this silence was not a punishment. It was a soft rescue. You see, Allah was watching what no one else saw. He saw the way you kept pushing through, even when your heart was bruised from pretending. He saw how many days you woke up wearing a mask. One that said, "I'm fine." One that laughed loudly, even though you cried quietly the night before. You got so good at performing that people forgot to ask if you were tired, and you got so used to being the strong one that no one ever noticed how deeply you were falling apart. So Allah, in His quiet mercy, did what no one else dared to do. He interrupted the noise. He started taking things away, not to harm you, but to make space for what you've been avoiding, your own healing. Because sometimes He has to remove the audience so you can finally stop acting. And the silence you feared, that long pause in your life that made you feel forgotten, that was actually your soul finally catching its breath. It was your heart finally whispering, I can't keep performing like this. I need to feel safe. I need to rest. And Allah heard it. Before you could even put it into words, He saw it dash, and He answered it. That's why you're alone more now, not because people are gone, but because your soul is being reset. You are being returned to a place where you don't need to impress, where you don't need to explain yourself, where you don't need to fight to be understood. Because with Allah, you never had to be perfect to be loved. You just had to be real, and maybe, for the first time in your life, you're learning how to be that version of yourself, the one that doesn't smile to hide pain, the one that doesn't post to be seen, the one that isn't afraid of silence. Because you've learned, in that silence, that Allah speaks, not with sound, not with noise, but with comfort, with signs, with stillness that feels like a soft blanket on your aching heart. And maybe that's the real miracle, that after all the noise, after all the pretending, after all the exhaustion, you're finally safe to be who you really are, and the only one watching is the only one who's never stopped loving you. So if life feels quieter now, if you're alone more than ever, if no one is clapping anymore, don't panic. Because this is not your ending, this is your beginning. You're not being forgotten. You're being freed from the version of you that was silently dying just to be enough for people. And now Allah is pulling you back to life, one breath of silence at a time, one unseen mercy at a time, one sacred whisper at a time. 2. He made you forget who you were pretending to be. There was a version of you the world applauded. Confident, focused, put together, always in control, always moving, always achieving. You wore that version like a perfectly tailored outfit, one you stitched together from survival, from pressure, from pain, from the need to prove that you were okay. But lately, you can't find that version anymore. You wake up and feel unfamiliar to yourself. You look in the mirror and feel like a blur. You try to speak and your voice sounds distant, like someone else is talking, and that terrifies you because you think you're losing yourself. You think something's wrong with you, but what if this isn't a breakdown? What if it's a sacred unraveling? What if Allah is not letting you find that old version of you because He's trying to free you from it? You see, there's a difference between who you are and who you've been acting like, and you've been acting for so long that even you started believing the role, the strong one, the selfless one, the achiever, the pleaser, the one who never says no, the one who never breaks, the one who always knows what to do. But those weren't your truth. They were your armor. They were the masks you wore to survive a world that didn't always give you the space to be human. So Allah, in His deep mercy, let you forget that version. He didn't let you keep performing. He didn't let you find comfort in pretending. He didn't let your old rhythm work anymore. And you kept wondering, why do I feel lost? But maybe the better question was, who was I trying to be? That wasn't really me. Because losing a false identity isn't a loss. It's a return. It's a quiet homecoming to the soul that Allah designed. Before the pain, before the heartbreak, before the disappointments made you build walls. Allah is not trying to change you into someone else. He's trying to restore you to the one He already created with purpose. The you that feels deeply, the you that speaks with honesty, the you that worships without performance, the you that doesn't rely on validation to feel seen. That's why nothing feels right lately. That's why the old habits don't feel fulfilling. That's why your heart doesn't light up the way it used to, because you're outgrowing a self that wasn't yours to carry. And the confusion you feel now? It's the space between who you used to pretend to be and who you're finally becoming. So take a deep breath. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're not empty. You're shedding the weight of false identities and standing quietly in front of your Lord as the raw, vulnerable, unseen version of you. The one who doesn't know all the answers. The one who doesn't have it together. The one who just wants to be real again. And that's the version Allah always wanted to meet. Not the performance, not the mask. Not the polished image the world applauded, but the soul that whispers, Ya Allah, I don't even know who I am anymore, but I know I need you. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of your return. And sometimes, in order to return, you have to forget who you weren't meant to be. 3. He didn't let you numb it this time. You used to be really good at hiding it. The ache, the tightness in your chest, the heartbreak you never admitted out loud. You were an expert at brushing it off. Just tired, just busy, just life. But it wasn't just that, was it? There was something deeper, something older, a sadness that followed you quietly. From one distraction to the next, you scrolled past it, worked through it, laughed over it. You drowned it in noise, in people, in plans, in playlists. Because feeling it was too dangerous. You thought, if I let myself feel this, I might not come back. But now, for some reason, nothing is working. The distractions are empty. The noise feels loud. The ache, it's louder. And you keep asking, what's happening to me? Why am I feeling everything now? But maybe it's not that you're breaking down. It's that Allah is finally breaking through. Because you can't heal what you keep burying. You can't recover from a wound you keep pretending doesn't exist. And you can't expect peace when your soul has been surviving in silence for years. So this time, Allah didn't let you escape it. He didn't let you numb it. He didn't let your favorite distractions work. Why? Because He loves you too much to let you fake it forever. Because even though you've moved on, your heart never did. Because even though you smile, your soul has been whispering, I'm tired of pretending. So He sat you down. He paused your life. He removed the noise, and then He let it rise, the grief, the memories, the questions, the anger, the disappointment, all of it, not to break you, but to cleanse you, to release what's been silently killing you from the inside, to heal the parts of you that never got to speak. You see, numbness feels safe, but it's just a slow form of dying. And Allah didn't create you to cope. He created you to heal. So if you're crying more now, if your chest feels heavier, if you suddenly feel everything you've been trying to forget, don't panic. You're not falling apart. You're being emptied of what never got a chance to be felt, of what never got a chance to be forgiven, of what never got a chance to be handed to Him, because that's all He wants. Not your perfection, not your silence, just your honesty. That moment when you finally say, Ya Allah, I can't carry this anymore. That's when the healing begins. So if it hurts more now, it means the numbness is wearing off. And if the numbness is wearing off, it means your heart is waking up again. And a heart that feels is a heart that can finally be held. 4. He made you uncomfortable around the people you once loved. You didn't ask for this feeling, and you don't even know how to explain it. You still care, you still wish them well, you still smile when you see their name, but something inside you has changed. You sit with them and feel like a stranger. You laugh, but it doesn't reach your soul. You listen to the same conversations, but suddenly they sound shallow. And worst of all, you miss them while sitting right next to them. And that hurts, because these were your people, your comfort zone, your safe place for so long. You shared memories, secrets, inside jokes, dreams, tears. So why now do you feel so out of place? Why does your chest tighten when you're with them? Why do you walk away from every interaction feeling heavy and unseen? You think something's wrong with you. You wonder if you're being arrogant, ungrateful, distant. But the truth is, nothing's wrong with you. Everything is awakening inside you, because Allah saw what you didn't see. That the version of you sitting with those people today is not the version of you that sat with them years ago. Your soul is growing, and sometimes that growth is quiet, but it changes everything. Your conversations have shifted, your values have shifted, your boundaries have shifted, even your pain has matured. And when a soul starts rising, it will start feeling tight in rooms built for the older version of itself. This discomfort, it's not bitterness, it's your soul resisting what no longer feeds it. It's Allah gently showing you, you can still love them, but you don't have to stay where your light keeps dimming just to be accepted. You don't have to force joy in places that now drain you. You don't have to keep explaining yourself to people who only knew your past. You don't have to stay emotionally loyal to people who can't understand your spiritual becoming, and that's not pride, that's protection. Because some people were a shelter in one season, but in this new one, they've become a ceiling. And Allah loves you too much to let you stay stuck under a roof that won't let your wings open. So He made the connection feel awkward. He made the laughter feel hollow. He made the comfort feel unfamiliar. Why? Because you wouldn't have left on your own. Because your heart is loyal, even when it's dying slowly. So Allah stepped in, not to destroy your relationships, but to save your soul. And that's why you feel guilty. That's why you cry after every gathering. That's why you keep trying to make it fit. Even though you know deep down, something has shifted for good. You're not abandoning them. You're just answering a call higher than comfort. You're following the whisper of your soul that says, there's more than this. There's depth, there's purpose, there's peace. So let the change happen. Let the discomfort teach you. Let the goodbye be soft, even if it's unspoken. Because you can love people and still choose to outgrow the spaces that were silently killing your light. And sometimes the most sacred growth is the one that happens when Allah pulls your heart away from what once felt like home to take you somewhere that finally feels like truth. 5. He let you feel empty, so you'd finally stop filling yourself with what was hollow. You've been asking yourself quietly, what's wrong with me? You're doing the things you used to love. You're surrounded by people who care. You're achieving. You're showing up. You're functioning. But something deep inside you feels vacant, like you're living in your body. But your soul is standing in a corner, watching, tired, and silent. You smile, but it doesn't reach your chest. You laugh, but it echoes back hollow. You try to focus, try to feel, try to care, but it all slips through your fingers, and that's terrifying, because it wasn't always like this. You used to feel alive, you used to dream. You used to get excited over little things. So what happened? Why do the things that once lit you up feel like flickering light bulbs now? Why does the food not taste like it used to? The people not touch you like they used to? The days not inspire you like they used to? Here's the answer no one told you. It's not depression. It's not failure. It's detox. Allah is emptying you, not because He's forgotten you, but because He's resetting your soul. You've been feeding your spirit with things that looked full, but were hollow. The scrolling, the achievements, the likes, the attention, the temporary highs, the conversations that didn't nourish you, the relationships that distracted you from your wounds. You kept reaching for these things, thinking they'd fill you, but all they ever did was silence the ache for a few hours. And now, they've stopped working, not because you're broken, but because you're waking up. Your soul is rising, and it can't be fed with things that aren't real anymore. So Allah, in His hidden mercy, let you feel this sacred kind of emptiness, so you'd finally stop stuffing your soul with what it was never created to digest. It's like your heart is fasting. Fasting from fake fulfillment, fasting from dopamine hits, fasting from shallow conversations and empty rituals, fasting from survival mode versions of life, because your soul is hungry for something deeper now. It's starving for sincerity, for stillness, for truth, for connection that doesn't disappear when your phone is off, for a peace that doesn't depend on performance, for the kind of presence that only Allah can give you. And that kind of hunger can only be felt once everything else stops tasting good. So don't fear the emptiness. Don't rush to fill it. Don't panic and shove distractions back into the space Allah just cleared. Sit in it. Breathe through it. Let your soul speak, because it's been waiting for this moment for years. This hollow space you feel, it's not a void. It's a doorway, a sacred opening back to your fitra, the pure, quiet part of you that was born knowing Allah. And now that you've been emptied, Allah is preparing to refill you. But this time, with what's real, with light, with sincerity, with du'as that make your chest tremble, with faith that feels alive again, with a version of you that doesn't need the world to clap, because she only lives for the one who sees her in sujood. So if everything feels numb now, if you feel like nothing moves you anymore, know this: you're not dying, you're just being cleared out, to make space for something your soul has been waiting for. And Allah never empties a heart without intending to fill it with something better. 6. He let your strength collapse, so you could learn the power of surrender. You were always the one people leaned on, the one who never fell apart, the one who stayed calm during storms, the one who carried everyone's pain quietly, even when your own chest was breaking. You were the fixer, the forgiver, the helper, the one who said, "I'm fine," even when you were anything but. And because you were so good at surviving, no one ever asked how you were really doing. But now, something's changed. You wake up tired. You cry more than you used to, or maybe you can't cry at all. You find yourself forgetting things, feeling numb, struggling to hold it all together. You try to stay strong like before, but your heart just won't cooperate anymore. And you keep asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be strong like I used to? But what if that's not a weakness? What if that's a rescue? What if Allah is not punishing you by making you fall apart, but freeing you from the pressure of holding up a world that was never yours to carry? Because sometimes strength isn't lifting everyone else. It's finally putting everything down and falling into sujood. You see, Allah knows how long you've been surviving. He knows how heavy the unseen burdens have become. He knows how you've been pushing past your own limits for so long that you forgot what peace feels like. So He did what no one else had the courage to do. He let your strength collapse, not to humiliate you, but to humble you gently into surrender. Because He never asked you to be superhuman. He only asked you to be His. And right now, with your energy low, your hands empty, your heart weary, and your soul trembling, that's exactly where He wanted you. Not so you'd give up, but so you'd give in to Him. Because true strength isn't found in holding it all together. It's found in falling apart in the right direction. In finally whispering, Ya Allah, I can't do this on my own anymore. And when you say that, the heavens move, the help comes. The weight begins to lift, not because you became stronger, but because you surrendered it to the only one who never tires. So don't be ashamed of how weak you feel right now. Don't hate yourself for being human. Don't curse your collapse, because that collapse, it's sacred. It's a doorway. It's Allah saying, you've carried enough. Now let me carry you. And He will. One tear at a time, one prayer at a time, one moment of surrender. That opens the floodgates of unseen mercy. Because the strength you had before was impressive, but the peace that's coming next will be divine. 7. He didn't let you heal through revenge, closure, or justice. You kept waiting for it, an apology, an explanation, a moment of honesty where someone finally said, I know I hurt you, and I shouldn't have. You waited for closure, for justice, for the truth to come out. You replayed conversations in your head. You rehearsed what you'd say if they ever gave you the chance to speak. You imagined them realizing how much they broke you. And you hoped just once that they would feel it. But that moment never came. They moved on like nothing happened. The pain stayed with you. But the apology never did. And you asked Allah, why didn't you let me be heard? Why didn't you let me clear my name? Why did they get to walk away while I'm still here bleeding? But what if I told you that Allah not giving you closure from them was the beginning of your healing with Him? You see, sometimes the worst thing that can happen to your soul is to get the apology you think you need, because it keeps you tied to the pain. It keeps your healing in their hands. It keeps your worth wrapped around their ability to see your side, and Allah doesn't want that for you. So He blocked the conversation. He closed the door. He silenced the response you kept begging for, not to hurt you, but to free you. Because your heart can't fly, while it's still waiting for someone else to release it. So He redirected you back to Him, back to the only one who sees all sides, who hears the words they never said, who knows what they did, even if no one else believes you. And maybe that's the mercy. That you were never meant to find healing through revenge, through winning the argument, through proving your pain. Maybe you were meant to find it in a whisper at 2 a.m. when the world is sleeping, and only Allah knows what it cost you to stay soft, to stay quiet, to walk away instead of destroying them with the truth. Maybe your healing isn't loud. Maybe it's not public. Maybe it's not written in justice here, but in reward there. And maybe what you thought was unfair was actually divine protection, because Allah knew. If He let you speak, you would have said too much. If he let you win, you would have become someone else. If he gave you justice right now, you would have settled for revenge instead of resurrection. So yes, you were silenced, but not by oppression, by elevation, because Allah is not writing a small ending for you. He's writing a story that doesn't end with them seeing your worth. It ends with you seeing it, without needing anyone else to confirm it. So wipe your tears. You didn't lose. You just took a quieter path. One that leads straight to the throne of the Most Just. And when he heals you, you won't need closure. You won't crave revenge. You won't even remember what it felt like to need their validation. Because your peace will no longer depend on anyone's apology, only on Allah's mercy, and it will be enough. 8. He let you outgrow the version of you that settled. There was a time you would have done anything just to have what you have now, that job, that relationship, that approval, that circle of friends, that dream you once prayed for with tears in your eyes. But now, you look around and it doesn't feel like home anymore. You go through the motions, but something inside you is aching. You feel guilty for wanting more, because more feels ungrateful. So you stay quiet, you keep showing up, you keep pretending this is enough. But in the silence of your soul, you've been whispering the same words over and over. I don't think this is who I'm meant to be. And maybe you're right, because there's a version of you that got really good at surviving. She made herself smaller to be liked. She dimmed her light to avoid jealousy. She accepted just enough love to stop herself from collapsing, but never enough to truly feel safe. She smiled through things that broke her. She convinced herself this is okay, even though her soul was screaming, no, it's not. That version of you was strong, but she was tired, and more than that, she was never meant to stay. So Allah started stirring something inside you, not loudly, but just enough to make what was once comfortable start feeling too tight. The conversations feel shallow, the dreams feel outdated, the routine feels suffocating, and you try to ignore it. You try to be grateful, you try to stay, but your soul knows what your mind keeps denying. You were created for more than settling, more than surviving, more than just getting by, more than fitting in rooms that ask you to hide your pain just to be loved. So Allah, in His gentleness, let the version of you that settled start falling apart, not to shame you, not to confuse you, but to call you higher. He's inviting you to stop shrinking, to stop forcing yourself to be okay with what only keeps you barely breathing, to stop building your life around what's familiar and start building around what's true. Because the truth is, you're not the same anymore. You've grown. You've been cracked open. You've tasted silence, stillness, and sujood. And once your soul tastes Allah, it can't go back to begging for crumbs. So that restlessness you feel, it's not rebellion, it's revelation. It's your soul saying, I'm ready for more. More sincerity, more depth, more meaning, more light. More of Allah in everything you do, say, and choose. And yes, it's scary. Leaving behind the version of you that helped you survive is terrifying, but it's also sacred. Because in every ending He writes, there is a beginning your heart hasn't imagined yet. So let yourself outgrow the old self. Let the old comfort burn. Let the old identity fade. You're not selfish. You're not lost. You're evolving, and the life you're aching for, the one that feels pure, full, real, and aligned with your purpose. That life is calling you, and Allah is guiding you there. Even through the discomfort, even through the confusion, even through the quiet, because the moment you stopped settling was the moment you started becoming the version of you. He always wrote in the unseen. You didn't imagine the pain. You didn't exaggerate the emptiness. You were quietly drowning, and no one saw it. But Allah did. He saw the weight you never spoke about. He heard the dua you were too tired to make. He counted the nights you cried without knowing what for. And still, he never left you. So if all you can do right now is breathe. Breathe knowing this. You're not being ignored. You're being rescued. And this moment, this very video, is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the part where Allah finally pulls you out from what was silently killing you.